Hello, everyone. Welcome to our reading today. We are looking at telepathy. We are using the Telepathy Oracle cards. I've had a couple people message me privately asking me how to use the telepathy cards. I've had quite a few people. There are other readings that I have had that I've done these cards with. You can look on my page and you will see where it says, reading with telepathy. And I've used these cards in quite a few different readings. You There's really no wrong way to use these cards. You can ask to you can ask to know what it is that you need to know, right? You put your cards to your heart and just sync your cards with your energy. Give gratitude and thanks to the cards for helping you to understand what it is that you need to know for your highest good, right? Give honor and thanks to the cards because these cards are a tool. Okay, this is a tool for you to use, right? To help you understand what you might not be able to tap into or connect with because of your emotions or state of being or what's going on in your life or things like that. Or maybe you are tapped in, but this is just a confirmation. Okay. But there's really no wrong way to use these. You can use them with other decks. I have used them when I did readings with other decks to give like more clarity. You could use them as clarifying cards. You can use them to do your own readings. But, I'm going to use them now to do a guidance reading for us and to just show you how you can use them. So let's take a look and see um, if this helps to understand how to use them. Okay, so I hope this helps those that message me. Thank you so much. Whoa! Thank you so much for messaging me. I appreciate it. I love getting your messages. Yes, I do live readings. Yes, I do. I finally got to 100 people on Facebook. So, yes, I do live readings now. Um, I haven't really came up with a permanent schedule because it has been like a lot of craziness going on with everything, especially like in the world and everything. So I haven't really came up with like a schedule or anything, but I do announce before I go live. So yes, if you head over to my Facebook, yes, I do live readings there. Um, and they will increase. So we're going to put these two cards here as extra information. And your reading is it's time. Let time forget those scars. Okay, so you know how they say like time heals all wounds. So this time card is basically saying that it's time to move out of the energy that is restricting you and holding you back. Okay, so I am not a big believer that time heals all wounds. I know a lot of people say that sayings and they believe that it does, and everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. But sometimes if you're carrying something and you're carrying it heavy, time doesn't seem to end. It just seems to repeat because every day you're faced with those dilemmas or those situations or those memories or things like that. So time, it depends, I think, on exactly how the situation affects you, exactly who the situation involves, and how you have handled the situation yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, things like that. It's like I think it has more to do with that. But what this card is saying that um, it's time for you to just let time itself move move that situation away. Okay, so sometimes you need to just give it to the universe. You need to say, okay, I've cried over this, I've dealt with this emotionally. I wish to let this go. Please help me to release. Right, this time card is more about releasing. It's understanding that there's no point in keep going back. The situation has resolved. It is over, and each time you go back, you need to just release it. Just tell yourself, I'm not there no more. The situation is not going to have control over me. I really don't care to go back there and visit this situation anymore. I want to move forward with my mindset. I want to move forward with my mental health. I want to move forward with my heart space. Okay. And that is what it means by giving it to time. Just keep giving it to the creator, giving it to to the higher self, giving it to the spiritual realm, and just give it to time. Just let it just keep as you keep giving it over time, it will eventually be less and less to you. It'll mean less and less, and it'll affect you less and less. The appeal of soul pairing goes beyond superficial. Okay, so this one here has to do with attracting attracting someone to your energy field. Okay, so we attract based off of what we want in our life, or what we don't want in our life, we will actually attract because that is what we need to deal with, right? Or that is what our fears are, so therefore, we attract our fears because we need to deal with deal with those fears, right, to release them. But also attract is, um it's beyond surface. So a lot of times you see, like, for example, uh, the person that popped in my mind was like social media. When you hear people like, oh, is this person dating this person, and that person's dating that person, and that person's with this person, and oh, this singer's with this actor, and it what you see on the surface goes a lot deeper. There's a deeper superficial purpose for that. Usually everyone that comes into our life, whether it's a long-term relationship, short-term relationship, um, friendship, a coworker interaction with a person, there is a there is a deeper purpose besides what you see on the surface. Okay, there is a deeper reason. So if someone is in your energy and you're not quite understanding why, go a little deeper within yourself to ask yourself, why is this person in my energy? Why am I unable to shift this situation? Okay, or why am I attracted to this person when I shouldn't be? Because in that, you're going to find your why. Your why is more important than the why over the situation, right? Because, for example, I'm just giving an example. Say you're attracted to someone who is an alcoholic. Say you're attracted to someone who drinks very, very heavily, right? And you don't know why. And you don't drink, but you are attracted to this person, and this person is in your field. And they're not a relationship person. They're just like a person that you socialize with, but every time you're socializing with them, they're always drunk. And you're always like, dude, or hey, or girl, you got to quit drinking. Like, but they're in your life and you just don't understand why you just don't cut the cord. um, that could be because subconsciously you are there for them, or they are there for you, even though this situation is going on because of another situation, because of something deeper that needs to be healed. Okay. So maybe if you set with that for a few, you're going to remember um, a situation in your life where, you know, uh, maybe somebody was very, very drunk, and they were not themselves, and therefore you had gotten hurt or something, and then you forgave the person, but you haven't really let that situation go. So maybe once you tell yourself, okay, I understand why I feel so much forgiveness for this person and so much empathy for this person, but this person is not serving my highest good, and I really don't want to be continuing in this relationship. I understand that it has to do with this relationship that I've experienced in the past, and that those are patterns that I'm just used to having in my life, right? Maybe you had someone in your family that was, a heavy drinker, and they were just always there, and it was a family member, right? A lot of times family members, we regardless of the situation, people say, oh, well, they're family, they're family, they're family. So sometimes excuses are made for family members, even though there shouldn't have been any. But nobody wanted to address the situation because they just blew it off as all their family. And so you were just like maybe brought up in this situation that it's okay for this person to do this or be this way because they're family. So maybe in this life, in your life, a person shows up and they're kind of the same kind of energy, and you don't really know why it's there, why you keep allowing it. Well, it's because you were taught that this is what we do, right? So now you just have to unteach yourself. So then you might simply state, every time this person calls you, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't have the time to hang out today, and you just keep like releasing it in time. You keep giving a situation time to just kind of push itself away because it's not in alignment with who you are. It's not who you want to be, right? And this no longer serves you, right? So, or you might simply tell the person, I want to be your friend, but until you make the choices to help yourself, I really can't continue watching you go through this. I can't be there during this situation, and you just allow them to make their choices but do it elsewhere with other people, right? That's what this is saying. Is saying that you need to look beyond the surface. There's something deeper, okay? Could be past life for some people. They've had past lives together, and one person in this life is working how they need to, and then the other person is kind of there, but they're not doing their part, and so like there's this like tug of war, or there's this like dragging energy coming in, and it's because that person's been in a past life. If you feel that you've been in a past life with this person, all you have to simply do is state to your higher self, to their higher self, to their spiritual self, I know I have been with you in my past life. I send love to you and I send love to that connection in the past life. For all things outside of this realm, there is no time. Time does not exist outside of reality of what we are in now, like what we are using now. So you can send love to that past life, to that past situation, but you can state that that was my past life, those were my past life choices, but I do not wish to make those choices in my present life. I do not wish to walk in this energy any further. I send you love, but I ask the universe to please cut these cords, allow us to go our separate ways. And that closure will be given, right? That person will receive what they need to receive to understand that, this situation in this lifetime is not going to be fed, okay, from the past lifetimes, right? Or you can address the situation however you feel pulled to address it with the situation. Maybe the situation just needs more love. Maybe the past life it was handled in a way that was not love, and maybe so this lifetime you just got to keep sending that person love. Doesn't mean that you have to interact with that person um, on a daily basis. You could just send them love, wish them well. Send them love, wish them well. Send them love, wish them healing. Send them love, wish them a safe path. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you have to engage if it's not something that you truly want to do. True love appears when you least expect it. All right. So don't go searching for love because it's like that song, searching for love in all the wrong places. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. All right, so you got to love yourself first, because if you're out searching for love and you haven't healed yourself, then you're going to find the broken pieces of yourself in other people. And then that's going to give you even more. So the grass isn't always greener on the other side. What's greener is what is taken care of. Okay, so take care of yourself, take care of your heart. Know thyself, know thy way. So if you want true love, you got to give it to the universe. You got to throw it out there. You got to quit trying to hold on to anything, um, and be realistic. Understand that choices determines your path. Healing is a choice, but all of these things that you do change the path of what's truly meant for you. So true love comes in the most when you do the healing, when you do the self-love, when you do the self-care, when you notice your thoughts, when you notice who you are and you work on you. Why am I thinking that way? Why am I feeling that way? Do I feel jealous? Why do I feel jealous? There's no need for me to feel jealous. Talking to the universe, I don't want to feel jealous. I don't want to feel this way, or I don't want to feel a lack of love, or I don't want to love somebody that doesn't know how to love me back. Like, talk to the universe, talk to your spiritual team, work on yourself because you will attract what you feel you deserve. You will repel what you know does not serve your highest good. And that comes in when you begin to self love yourself. Okay. When you are lacking self love, you're going to accept certain things and you're going to accept certain people. But when you really start to love yourself, that's when those boundaries come in. That's whenever you say, no, I don't want this in my life. I don't have the time to deal with that in my life. I have moved past this in my own life, so I'm not going to accept it coming back in through somebody else, right? So, one of those kinds of things, right? So, again, true love is brought to you by the universe with frequencies. True love is brought to you by the creator when you are leveling up and you are working your heart into what really, really resonates with you, what really matters most, where your heart truly goes. Okay, that's a true love. It's something that you trust the universe with, and it's something that you can't search for. It just finds you. Okay, it's not something that like you can put an ad out there. Hey, looking for my true love. Likes to kayak and go fishing and camping and to the movies, and then somebody responds and go, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's me. I like to do that." And then, that's that's not that's a companion. That's someone that likes to do the same things you do, but that's not necessarily true love. But you see that a lot when it comes to like the dating the personals, dating the personal sections and things like that. You see that like the online platforms, searching for my true love must have blue eyes, blonde hair and a size, 10 or whatever. Like what? Like that's not true love if you already have a platin for the how the person has to be. True love is going to come in without you even thinking that this is this person or that is that person. It is going to be something that is brought in by the universe, something that's brought in unexpectedly, not anticipating at all. Okay, that is a true love relationship. And there can be superficial, um, surface issues even with the true love, but this true love might come in and it might not be a perfect true love. There could still be problems that you have to work out even though it's a true love. There could still be issues you have to work out. So don't get mesmerized over the superficial top stuff either. Make sure that you are truly connecting. Notice how your cards all have trees, right? So you got these roots. Be grounded, but also be open to receive, be open to life, right? Be able to expand. Like don't keep your circle closed off to the point where you're only allowing this to be in your reality. Okay, be open to things. And like this here, it has like that hermit energy. You may need to go within to understand a lot of your situation. Why did I stay with this person for so long? Why did I choose this person? Why did I choose to stay single my whole life? Like, you may need to go within you to understand your emotions so that you can heal to bring in this energy. Okay, but this energy, it's all connected. Just like they found out that like the biggest forest in the world, like there's one tree that's very very old and it's connected to like all the others. Okay, so know that everything is connected. What you are doing here, it's all connected to others as well, and it will work itself out. Your main thing is to overcome barriers. Yeah, find ways around the obstacles to find happiness. Again, we have this superficial. The superficial could be, why do you always leave the door open when you go to the bathroom? Oh, well, why do you never take your shoes off when you come in the house? Like, that's superficial. That's surface complaining. That's surface whining. Is that worth the energy that you're putting forth? The fighting, the combating, the finding anything to argue about kind of energy. Go deeper and find out why. Why is that there? What's causing that agitation, right? Because if you have that agitation in one relationship and you don't resolve it within you, you will carry that agitation into another relationship and you will find it in that relationship. Okay. You might compare, oh, this person does the same thing that person did. Oh, this person treats me the same way that person treated me. Because you don't want to compare. You don't want to compare this person with this person because they're not the same people. You can compare the situations and how you address them and how you see them. But the real question isn't, oh, this person's doing the same thing that person did. They don't love me. No. The real question is, I'm observing this person doing the same thing that used to upset me with this person. Why does this upset me? Why am I upset about them walking through the house with their shoes on? Because I cleaned the house, because I just spent my time cleaning the house, and I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel valued. That is why. I don't feel like they understand that they are upsetting me. Okay. And then you realize that it's not about him wearing his shoes in the house or him wearing his shoes in the house. It's about the fact that they both do something that makes you feel unappreciative. So then you could say, "Excuse me, but when you wear your shoes in the house after I just mopped the floor, it really makes me feel like you don't appreciate me trying to keep the house clean." Okay. Like, so therefore you're overcoming barriers by instead of arguing and pointing fingers and comparing, you're expressing. Okay, maybe the person, it's just a habit and it's a bad habit to break because they're used to doing it, right? Or maybe the person is doing it on purpose and they just don't care and you need to be aware that this person is experiencing the same kind of attitudes towards you that this person did. And how much do you love yourself to allow this person to just blow you off and not care, right? So that's where the barrier is. The barrier is never the situation. The barrier is, how does the situation affect you and what can you do about it? That's the barrier. Okay? That's the situation. And then the strength is, the power of love is like a magnet drawing souls together. As you see the situation more clearly, right? As you see the situation more clearly, you begin to understand your inner strength. You understand how you can take back your power by addressing the situations how they suit you best. Nobody wants to argue and fight and scream and holler every day. The reason why people do that is because there's unresolved anger issues or pain inside of them, right? So finding your strength helps you to analyze the situation. All right. He, for example, he continues to walk through the house with his shoes on, putting mud everywhere. Do I again repeat myself because I've said this over and over again and it doesn't make a difference? Or do I B, clean it up, let it go, keep my peace, and remind myself that this is a choice that they are making and how does it affect me? How does it affect my happiness? How does it affect my well being? Can I release this? Can I just let it go? Can I tell myself they forgot again? Or does this really bother me? Is this something that really needs addressed? Can I address it when I'm calmed down a little bit? right? Like one of those kinds of things. Maybe I can get a mat for the shoes and put the mat by the door so that it's a reminder to take your shoes off when they come in, right? Like, what can you do? What are your strengths that you can do to to handle this situation? That's the power of love within you. Okay? It is like a magnet within you. As you begin to love yourself more, you trigger the outside world around you. That person's going to realize, hey, I wore my shoes in the house. If they're purposely trying to upset you, you're going to get feedback like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to take my shoes off again." Ha 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 ha. Like they're going to like if it's like like an energy that it's purposely doing it, they're going to stomp through the house or they're going to do something to make you see their shoes to see if they can get a response out of you. If you do not respond, or if they say, "Oh, I left my shoes on again." I thought you'd be yelling at me by now. You know, you could just say, "Oh, no." Mm-mm." Sometimes if you just blow it off and act like it don't bother you no more, then they actually quit doing it because they're not getting the feedback that they expected to get from you because you changed the feedback. "Oh, no, whatever. I'm tired of talking about it. It'll be what it'll be." Or, "Oh, no, it don't bother me no more. I don't care." And so then the person if they're trying to purposely pull that energy out of you or get you agitated or whatever and you take that power back, then you might see the person completely stop. But honestly, some people, they truly don't mean to. Some people, they're used to just, maybe they were raised to leave their shoes on in their house, so they truly don't. It's a long, many, 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 many years of used to wearing your shoes all the time, even when you slept, to all of a sudden you're asked to take your shoes off. So sometimes it has nothing to do with trying to hurt your feelings. Sometimes they truly, truly forget. And it's just out of habit and it's just a hard habit to break. You will know based off of the emotions that you receive from that person if they're doing it intentionally. But regardless, the strength is how do you handle that, right? That is where your strength is. And you have the tree card. Tell the tree what you really think. Yeah, so see, everything is connected. There's nothing wrong with going out and venting to nature, right? People say go hug a tree, go sit by a tree. It makes you feel better. It takes your thing. But here's the thing, too. There are tree spirits. There are people who remember in past lives being trees. There are people who have studied trees and they've studied the energy and the frequency. I have a tree, and I kid you not, it is in my backyard. And when I started learning energy work and I started to teach my daughter energy work, and we would be outside when we would just start talking, the leaves on this tree would literally like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, like they would just start going crazy. And we would say hello to it. I even had my son do it one time. We come home one time. We come home through the yard and it was like as soon as we got around the house, this tree just started going crazy. The leaves were just shaking, 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 and we were like, "Hello, it's nice to see you. You look so beautiful today." And then like all of a sudden, it just calmed down and it just stopped. It just stopped, and it wasn't the wind, because trust me, I looked to make sure, and it wasn't the wind because no other trees were moving, just that one. And and when you got close to it, you could feel like the heat on your hands, and it's just a tree that just makes you feel happy when you go down and you sit by it or you talk to it. And I know my daughter, she has sat underneath of it and she has wrote and drew pictures, and she's went down there with her crayons and things, and she just sits under it and she just will do her art work underneath the tree, or she'll journal underneath the tree. And she said that the tree just makes her feel so like hugged, like cared for, like you could just feel the energy from the tree. So, you know, trust. There's a video too on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. It was on TikTok, but I think it's on YouTube. It's a video of a woman who went for a walk, and every day she goes for a walk and she talks to this tree, and this tree literally hugs her. Like it shows the limb, like she videotapes herself standing next to the tree, talking to the tree, asking the tree how the tree's doing, and its limb literally begins to bend and touch her body. I forget the video, but I forget what kind of tree it is. I don't know if it's a willow tree. I forget what kind of tree it is. But she took her mother in the video. Her mother went with her because her mother was like, "No, there's no such thing." She took her mother with her, and it took them a few minutes. She had to stand pretty close to to the limb, to one of the limbs that was shaking. But the tree literally, like you could see in the video, you could see that the tree literally bending to get closer to her. And she said that she had just created a bond with the tree. So the tree is, it's very spiritual. It grounds us, yes. Science has proved what spirituality already knew. Okay, trees are connected. Trees, there's the green man. I don't know if a lot of people, if you ever looked up the green man, um, trees are very spiritual beings, and they can hold emotions. They're anchors. They absorb toxicity and release breath, release life, right? So they um they are very strong. They have their roots that go down so that they can grow tall and strong, right? So this is telling you that it's okay to go out in nature. It's okay to set and communicate with nature, talk to nature as you're going through a nature walk. Put earbuds in your ears. Let the people around you think you're talking to somebody on the phone if you don't want to look weird. You can talk to nature and be like, this is what's going on in my life. These are my problems. This is my just walk and talk to nature. um, you might be surprised how you begin to feel that heart connection and how you begin to see guidance in ways that you might not have seen it before. You might be really surprised at how you connect to the elements and to life around you, and see things completely different, and understand that you are connected. No matter how far apart you think you are from somebody or disconnected from somebody, you are truly connected by source. And the tree, as an example, reminds you that as above, so below. It reminds you of the strength, okay, that it bears, how to weather the storm. You don't escape the storm, you ride it out, you ride through it, okay? So the tree is very much about stability and communication. So if you need to find yourself, you might want to take time to find yourself in nature. That might be a good source for you. So your last two cards are Twin Flame. Twin flames themselves contain an aspect of each other's personality. Yes, trust your intuition. Okay, so this is talking about understanding your your guidance and where this card reading is taking you to, okay? Where is it calling you? What is it calling you to tune into? Okay? That is your yes power. The power of love. So trust your intuition. Trust that you were led here for a purpose. Set with this reading. If it resonates with you, save it and come back to it too. You might need to come back to it a couple times to see how uh, the energy works its way through. Because I feel like this is going to be a do a little bit and then look at the situation, and then do a little bit, look at the situation, like the barriers and things. It's going to cause you to have to try to. This isn't an easy situation to work through. Has a lot of barriers, but overcoming those barriers by going within and understanding your triggers, understanding how you handle situations, you know, and getting control over your emotions is really going to be of great effect for you and for the situation that is involved, if that helps. Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to stop with that one because we're on 34 minutes, anyways. So I don't want to keep going on because I want you to remember the most important details. So um, let me know how this resonates with you. Much love to you. Remember, twin flame, again, if it is a twin flame, it will come to you. Okay, it will come to you. And anytime you have a twin flame, anytime you're if you're searching for your twin flame or you want a twin flame, just know that whatever you have not resolved within yourself is going to come up in your twin flame. So you could very easily find your twin flame and then it doesn't work because you have not yet come to terms with who you are. And so when you see that person, it is like a mirror to you. Okay, it is a mirror to what you need to do with your within. Okay, so just know that if you work on yourself, you're going to align with the energy as well. It's all about self-love and working on yourself. Okay? That's the true understanding of everything. Okay? All right, I wish you so much love, so much healing, and so much happiness. You can overcome any barriers, especially ones that are within you. Trust that you can do it. Don't make excuses. Pat yourself on the back whenever you do even just the smallest achievement in barriers, because every little step, every little change is a triple down effect, and it can cause major ripples. Okay, so never doubt yourself, even if it feels like it's the smallest little achievement ever. Go celebrate that moment, okay? Because you did something that you might not have ever been able to do before, or you were aware of something that you might never have been aware of before, and that matters, okay? All right, much love, and thank you so much. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.